Hi, welcome all. Welcome to the largest education festival in the world, the Student University Webinar Season 4 Get Connected. And today is day 25 of the event. So wonderful. Please understand we are there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on Thursdays and Sundays, we don't have the event. So tomorrow there will be no event. We'll see you again on Friday. It's been a wonderful journey and a wonderful experience. I hope you enjoyed as much as we loved presenting it to you. There has been a lot of things that has been shared in this session. And in case you have missed on the success skills, you can find it on the YouTube. In case you want about student questionnaire, again, it is on YouTube. In case you want to have about university webinars, you can find it on the YouTube. So the YouTube is EACC-Education Abroad Counseling Center. Do visit it and share your comments, like and subscribe, and I will be happy to read those comments. So let's take today's event forward. Can you see my screen? Okay, Mustafa, Anushka, thank you. To the two prompt ones. So first, let me basically introduce Education Abroad Counseling Center. It always takes a couple of clicks before I go to the next slide. There it is. So Education Abroad Counseling Center, as we call it, EACC, started in Feb 2000. Our vision is to educate the youth by providing them with study abroad career options worldwide. Our mission is to help 10 lakh high school and graduate students achieve career growth using pre-application technology. And our USP is that we have counseled more than 13,500 students. We have been doing counseling for all major countries. In fact, we do for all countries. So major ones are US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Europe, but we do for other countries as well. We do for all levels, starting from 7th grade to basically PhD, and for all major programs. The USP also is that we provide guaranteed admissions or we refund your counseling fee. This is because of the pre-application research-based process that we follow. Now, we have completed the statement of purpose, the three power of statement of purpose in the 3 sessions. And today we are in the next important document, that is letter of recommendations. Now, letter of recommendation is very, very important because it's like the admission committee is of professors and they want to basically know about you. And the second person they can know about you is through your professors. They want to know how you are as a student. So the best person to evaluate you as a student is your professors. Okay. What you have written in your statement of purpose, how true it is, it can be verified through your statement of purpose. So your statement of purpose is a good reference check for the admission committee. It's also a professor to professor level communication where your teachers or your professors are going to talk about you as a student, your quality, your aptitude, your liking. These professors or these teachers can recommend for admission as well as for scholarships. Okay. So since basically it's a professor to professor level communication, a lot of importance is given to this particular document as well. And hence this document has to be taken very seriously. So I'm going to give 2 days for this. So today and on Friday, I'll be covering letter of recommendation, Strenght. So let's start. What is letter of recommendation? I've told you about the letter of recommendation, what basically is. The question is important because this is some of the common questions that basically some of the students ask. In case you are not aware, then this will help you to answer. It's your teacher or professor who has taught you in school or college is going to write about you. So you will, letter of recommendation is taken from your previous college or previous schools where you have studied. You are going to contact your teachers or professors and you are going to get a reference from them. Now, since you are going to get a reference from them, it has to be on the letterhead of the school or college. only then it has its validity. There has to be a date, and it describes students' qualification and skills, qualities and capabilities. So what is the professor going to write? It's about your skills, qualities and capabilities. The teachers at the end, the teachers or professor's complete name is mentioned, the title is mentioned, what he is, he's head of the department, or he is basically associate professor, or basically she is a teacher, or any other post, and the email ID is given. The signature is very important in this particular document, and the stamp of the school or college. So this entire thing, one page of presentation slide that I have given you, is good enough to understand what letter of recommendation is. So it has to have all this in place. If anything is missing, then your letter of recommendation is incomplete. All these are compulsory, mandatory. Okay, so these are the things that are required. How to write that letter of recommendation, we will be covering it in the next session, which is on Friday. Now the second is how to get letter of recommendation. This is important because over a period I have found that basically many people approach wrong teachers, wrong professors, and they are not able to get their letter of recommendations on time, or their recommendations are not good enough, because of which they lose out on admissions. So this question is therefore very, very important. Because you have not given enough thought on whom to approach, okay, how to get the letter of recommendation, you made a mistake. Understand each of the parameters that I am going to basically mention here are the admission parameters. So there is a weightage for this document, and based on the weightage of this document, you will be able to know whether you have a chance on getting admission or not. So each of these parameters being important from admission point of view, you have to take each of these documents seriously. Okay. Mostly student doesn't understand the importance of this document, and they try to approach any teachers, which doesn't solve the purpose. You need to understand how to get the letters of recommendation and to whom to approach. So first, you need to do some pre-research. Now, what are the pre-research required? I am assuming here that you have the list of universities where you want to apply. You have that ready with you. And then your pre-research starts. Okay. So first you should know what type of letter of recommendation you require, whether it is academic or professional or research based. Okay. So if it is academic, you will have to accordingly approach an academic professor. If it is basically research based, you will have to approach a research professor. If it is professional, then you will have to contact your employer. So you have to understand the type of letter of recommendation is required by the university for admission purpose. Subject requirement. Some of the university may want you to get recommendation for certain subjects based on what program are you applying for. So they may want it in a related subject. So they will ask for a subject requirement, in which case you will have to approach the subject teacher and get a recommendation letter from that teacher. So subject requirement is also important. So a pre-research has to be done by going to the university website and checking all these details. The next is how many recommendations are required. Okay. Now some of them may say 2, some of them may say 3. So you will have to make a provision accordingly. So know how many recommendation letters are required for each of the universities, because you may be applying to around 5 to 6 universities. Okay. Now, if you are going to do, let's say you do counseling from us, we will take care of all these things and we will let you know. But in case you are not doing it and you are doing it yourself, you should keep a check on these parameters. So how many recommendation letters are required? Is there any format? Now, some of the universities may have a format. So you just have to take a printout of this format and take this to your teacher or professor as per the requirement and get their signature and stamp and get the format filled. So if there is a format, take the printout of that format. Do they require to paper recommendation, online recommendation? Now, some things are changing with COVID. So most of them now require online recommendations. So if they basically require online recommendations, then you will have to get their email ID, professor's name, designation, so that you will be able to provide it to the university. The university will then send an email to them, and they will have to check their email and fill that basically, click on the form and upload the document or fill the form required. So that thing will be depending on each universities. So there will be an option to also fill and also write something in that particular tablet. So you can also submit that, or the recommendation online would be submitted, uploaded by the professor himself rather than by you. So all these small things have to be taken care before you reach out to your teachers or professors to get letter of recommendations. Post research, basically once you know that, okay, what are your university requirements, then the question arises is whom to approach. Now, since you have already done the research of basically based on the university, you know whom to approach. But I will tell you a few steps more here. Okay, reach out to the professors who are helpful, who is good with you, who is ready to give you a favorable letter of recommendation, who is ready to complete your recommendations on time. Those are important parameters. So whom to approach would be very important. Now, some of them approach a person who is like head of department, thinking that the weightage of being head of department will have an influence on the admission committee and will help that candidate to get an admission. But the problem is the head of department is so busy that he is not able to meet the deadline, or the head of department is so busy that he is not able to write a letter of recommendation as per how it is required. He writes a general letter of recommendation, in which case it will have no weightage or less weightage, in which case you may lose out on admission. So you are thinking that reaching out to the head of department was not right because he was a busy person. Check with him whether he is able to meet the deadline. Let him know that basically, that you have applied to so and so universities, because you may have applied to 6 universities. So he may be getting 6 letters of recommendations, different times. Does he have that much of time? These are important questions when you have to decide whom to approach. Approach a teacher or professor who are approachable, who can meet the deadlines, who can write a favorable letter of recommendation as per the requirement, rather than basically reaching out to somebody whom you think who would have weightage or who is very busy or who is not able to fulfill the deadline. Second, in case there is a subject requirement by the university, then you will have to reach out to the subject teacher and not any other teacher. So understand that need. Now, if you are not able to reach out to them, then you will be able to not be able to fulfill the requirement. So decide how you are going to select the university accordingly. It is always best to have a mix of academic plus a research recommendation, academic plus a sports recommendation, academic plus an internship recommendation, or academic plus work recommendation, so that it gives a well balance of your personality, rather than having 2 academics, 3 academics, because it will just show one side of your personality. The objective of statement of purpose or of letter of recommendation is to know you. And if you can get references of from a different background, where they can evaluate on a different level, it will help the admission committee to know more about you. And this will help you in your admission. Also very important is inform each of the professors on the number of universities you plan to apply, so that they are not shocked when you call him up every time and tell, sir, please, there is an email in your inbox. You need to fill that. I have a deadline which is coming up within a week. If you keep on calling up again and again, and if he is not informed, he may not like it. He must have thought that he has to write only one recommendation letter to you. But every time, if he is going to get 6 emails, he may not like it. So inform him well in advance so that he knows that he is prepared for those 6 recommendations. How many to approach? Now, this is also a very important question, because if suppose maximum recommendation required by one university is 3 and you want to apply to that university, then reach out to 4 or 5 professors. Now you will tell me why 4 or 5 and 3 is required. Suppose if any of them miss the deadline or is not able to meet a particular requirement, you can change them later on. Now for changing, it has to be done online. So if suppose I am filling your application, you have to inform me. I will basically accordingly change the online recommender. So the next recommender will get an email and he can basically send that and meet the deadline. Also, when you are reaching out to these professors, suppose the deadline is 15th of October, tell them 30th of September or tell them 15th of September, so that you have sufficient buffer time to change your recommender in case he is not able to meet the deadline and you don't miss out on the deadline. So if there are 3 recommendations, ideal would be to reach out to 5. But if not 5, at least reach out to 4. Now, the thing is, you have everything ready. You know everything now. Now, what to present to the person who is going to write letter of recommendation for you? What are you going to present? Now, what are you going to present is, first you write a cover note. Tell them basically that you are a student of so-and-so class, so and that he was teaching you so-and-so subject, doing so-and-so period, okay? And that you are applying for studies abroad for so-and-so program, and you wish him to be your recommender or her to be your recommender. Tell them also that you have attached a draft LOR. Prepare a draft LOR, where you are going to write about what subject you was teaching, what projects you had in that subject, regarding any research work or any other things that you would like to see in your LOR. So once you have the draft LOR, and you can let them know in the cover note that I have attached the draft LOR and the list of universities, latest resume and the statement of purpose. Please feel free to change in the draft LOR as per your requirement. So when they have the draft LOR, probably it shows your proactiveness. It shows that how you are very eager, and it will also make the recommender's job easy. If they want to basically make some changes, they will make the changes, or they want to remove or add something, they will do that. So give them a draft LOR. In case there is any format of the university, give them the format. Okay. Give them the list of universities that you are applying if you want to give. The latest resume. See that your resume is crisp, short, but it has everything. Probably 1 page, maximum 2 page. Don't give them a 5-page resume because they will not like it. They want to finish that, they want to have that within the shortest possible. They don't have that much of time. And your statement of purpose, so that they can relate what you have written in your statement of purpose. And if they find anything, that they want to write in your letter of resume, in your letter of recommendation, they will write it so that it relates to what your statement of purpose is. So when you are going to approach your references who are going to write letter of recommendation for you, do all those things, because then it shows that your preparedness for getting that letter of recommendation, rather than just saying, sir, I want a letter of recommendation for you. Now in a class of maybe 60, he may not even know you much. He may not even recollect you that much. So it will be very difficult every year to basically so many students going. He may know you by face, but to know everything of you may be difficult. But if you have prepared a draft LOR, it may become an easy job for the recommender. Oops. Okay. Now, last is you go and meet each professor or teacher. This is important. Or in case of COVID-19, if they are not available, then call them up. But ideally, you meet them, let them know about your study plan, discuss with them. Okay. When you discuss your maybe draft LOR or discuss with them, they will basically, understand and they will be able to relate things better. Okay. Then basically, let them know of the university you apply, share the basically draft LOR, resume and SOP, inform them about the deadlines. Always give them a deadline 1 month in advance so that, you get your LORs on time. Check with them when they are, if they have check when they will complete the LOR. Ask them, sir, when should I come back? Check, he will give, the professor may give a date and accordingly follow up so that you get your LOR on time. Or in case of email, online recommendation, call them and let them know, sir, when will you complete the LOR? Because the deadlines are faster. They say, I'll do it by the end of this week. And accordingly follow up so that you know that he has done it. And finally, if when he has done everything, you get the admission, send a thank you note or a box of chocolate, make them feel happy because you may need their help again. So these are very important tips for your LOR. I hope this will help you. I am done. I'm done. Sabrat, I'm absolutely done. So if you are ready, I will be happy to, to see you taking it on. If you want 4 minutes, absolutely, you can take 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes with you. Okay. Now, Sayandi as a sir, what to present? Is this the presentation to the university or the college or? No, it is not a presentation to the university or the college or the you are going to present basically about what you have studied, what program you have studied, what things you have learned in that particular program, what research have you done in that program. That is what you are going to present to the professor. He may not recollect everything. And you may present your SOP, your LOR, your SOP and your resume. So that is what you are going to present in your to the professor so that they can relate, they can understand. Sometime it must be 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. So they may be not be recollecting everything that you have, right? So that is where this will help you so that you get a best LOR for yourself.